She left her phone unlocked on the kitchen island. That's all it took. No rooting through her bag. No passcode cracks. Just a lazy swipe away from everything. Brielle always left her phone like that. Open, casual, like she had nothing to hide. But lately, everything about her was too casual. She laughed less. Stared more. Said, "Love you," without looking up. The kind of woman who'd already moved on emotionally, but hadn't done the paperwork yet. I opened her messages. Not to check them, just to drop one in. A text. Drafted the night before, on my notes app. Short. Deliberate. Written to sound like a mistake. Like something I meant to send from my phone. But I sent it from hers. To my ex. I know we said we wouldn't talk again, but I still think about that night. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we didn't walk away. Send. Then I put the phone back down face up. Waited. It took 5 minutes. She walked into the kitchen, glanced at her screen, then froze. What is this? She lifted the phone. Read the message twice. Did you use my phone? I didn't look up. Sorry. Meant to use mine. Thought it was mine. They're the same model. You texted your ex from my phone? Not on purpose. I shrugged. She stared at me, like she wanted to scream. But something held her back. Her thumb hovered over the screen. Then, buzz. New message. She tilted the screen away from me instinctively too fast. Just a second, she muttered, walking toward the bedroom. I poured my coffee and listened. 2 walls away, I heard the faint sound of her voice, low and sharp, but urgent. She was whispering. To someone. It wasn't my ex. I grabbed my phone. Opened the sync app I'd installed 2 weeks earlier when I started noticing things. A duplicate of her messages, her photos, her files, all ported silently to a hidden folder under my drive. I watched in real time as 3 new threads lit up. One labeled G. One labeled Work, Don't Open. One from a name I hadn't seen before, Damon Personal. I clicked Damon's thread. The latest message? Why is your boyfriend texting his ex from your phone? This is messy. Shut it down now. So I smiled. Because I wasn't trying to reach my ex. I was trying to see who she ran to when she thought she was cornered. And now I knew his name. She came back into the room 5 minutes later. Composed. Calm. Too calm. No questions about the message. No follow-up. Just a change in tone. Sweet. Artificial. The kind of careful that only shows up after someone's been backed into a corner. Want eggs? She asked, already cracking one before I could answer. Sure, I said. We didn't speak after that. She flipped bacon with surgical precision. Put toast on a plate like she was auditioning for forgiveness. But her eyes kept drifting to her phone. She deleted the thread. That much was obvious. But what she didn't realize was that the clone app running on my drive doesn't delete when she does. I scrolled as I chewed. Message history was gone from her end, but on mine? Intact. Worse, she'd also deleted 5 other threads in the same 10-minute window. G was gone. Damon Personal too. A new one. Sis, do not open around him. Also wiped. That last one got me curious. I opened the synced thread. Inside? Screenshots. One was a cropped image of me standing at our front door, taken from an upstairs window. The caption sent to her sister. He's asking more questions lately. If I need to move, I can. Just need 2 weeks. 2 weeks? 2 weeks to what? To run? To set me up? To flip the narrative? I checked her calendar next. Nothing unusual. Except one shared event with no title. 9:30 a.m., Tuesday. Location TBA. Shared with someone named DC. Not saved in her contacts. But I recognized the last 4 digits in the ID. Damon. That's when I checked the cloud sync logs. The messages were gone from her phone, but she forgot something else. Push notifications. One stayed live, buried in her preview center. Reminder. Flights updated. See new itinerary, confirmation code ending in 4792. It was from an airline I'd never flown. She'd never mentioned it. But I had her email credentials, recovered a week prior when she reused an old password I'd watched her type in 2 months ago. I logged in. Searched her inbox. Pulled up the latest email. Damon and Brielle, revised itinerary confirmed. Private car scheduled for pickup at 8:45 a.m. location, Crestfield Executive Terminal. She wasn't planning to run. She was planning to disappear. And she wasn't going alone. I took my coffee, walked upstairs, and opened the small safe behind my bookshelf. Inside, 2 drives. One with everything I'd gathered. The other with a full clone of her phone from 2 weeks back, before she'd started erasing the trail. I labeled them both. One for the lawyer, one for the fire. She brought me the plate of eggs like nothing happened. Want salsa? No, I said. I'm good. She kissed my cheek. I didn't flinch. She thought she was covering her tracks. But all she was doing was digging deeper into mine. That night, she came home late. Said her meeting ran long. Still wore the same lipstick from breakfast. New perfume, though. Heavier, sweeter. Long day, she said, setting her laptop on the table. You wouldn't believe the vendor chaos. I bet, I said, looking right through her. She poured a glass of wine. 2 fingers deep, no eye contact. Hey, she added, like it was a casual afterthought. I might have to leave town next week. Work's flying me out for a site check. Quick turnaround. Where to? Phoenix. Maybe Denver. Not sure yet. I nodded. Want me to drive you to the airport? She froze, half a beat. It's early. I'll just grab a lift. 2 lies. 1. The flight wasn't next week. It was in 36 hours. 2. She wasn't flying commercial. I had the full itinerary in my inbox. I also had her car tracker already installed, just below the rear bumper. Slim, black, magnetized. Real-time updates synced to my laptop and phone. The next morning, I offered to make breakfast. She declined. Said she was on edge about the trip. I watched her pack that night. Half the bag was lingerie. Other half, clothes I'd never seen before. No business materials. No client files. No presentation folders. She wasn't preparing for a pitch. She was dressing for someone else's bed. I kissed her goodbye at 4:30 a.m. Watched the lift pull out from behind the house. Tracked it all the way to Crestfield Executive Terminal, just like the itinerary said. I didn't follow. Not yet. Instead, I called a contact. Malik. Used to be private security. Now does quiet investigations. No paper trails, no receipts. I need a tail for the next 48 hours, I told him. Female, mid-30s. Flying private from Crestfield. Companion likely male. Named Damon. He didn't ask why. Just said, you'll get updates hourly. Want footage? Only if they lie about where they are. 3 hours later, I got the first ping. Landed in Palm Springs. Checked into Villa Colina under alias, Ms. Carter. She wasn't even using her own last name. Meanwhile, I played dumb. Texted her at noon. Hope the flight was smooth. Let me know if you need anything shipped. She replied, thank you, babe. Already tired. Meetings all afternoon. I smiled. Took a screenshot. Labeled the file. Palm Springs _lie_1:32 p.m.png. That night, I cooked dinner for 1. Poured a second glass of wine I didn't drink. Let the house stay just loud enough to feel like someone else was home. And then I opened Malik's file dump. Inside, 3 high-res photos. 1 video. A location log with timestamps. Photo 1. Her and Damon checking into the villa. Photo 2. Her holding his hand. Photo 3. Her in a robe, balcony, smiling. Not a work badge in sight. The video? Them kissing in the pool. I didn't rage. Didn't even blink. I just copied everything into the folder I'd been building since the message accidentally left her phone. Folder name? Endgame. I flew out the next morning. No announcement. No notes left on the counter. No bags by the door. Just booked a one-way ticket to Palm Springs and paid in cash. Malik had eyes on them all night. Room service ordered twice. No separate beds. No phone calls made to any company or client. They weren't hiding, because they didn't think anyone was looking. Villa Colina was gated. Privacy screens, ivy-covered walls, $1,300 a night bungalows with plunge pools and sunken lounges. I rented a cabana 3 doors down from hers. Used a burner email, different name. No reason to check in under mine. I wasn't there for confrontation. I was there for confirmation. She posted a boomerang that morning on her private Instagram. Mimosas. White robes. Caption. Recharge before the storm. No tags. But the reflection in the glass behind her showed him. Back turned, shirtless. Familiar tattoo over his shoulder blade. Malik already had it logged. Damon Ruiz. Freelance brand consultant. Former intern at my firm 3 years ago. Didn't last 6 months. Charming. Lazy. Thought charisma would replace results. Apparently, Brielle agreed. At 1:17 p.m., they left the room. I followed behind. Hat low. Sunglasses. Hoodie zipped. Watched as they entered the resort's private spa wing. I didn't follow. I just waited. 20 minutes later, she posted another story. Spa day success. She still hadn't replied to my check-in text from that morning. Let me know how the meetings go. Still unread. I waited till they returned to the room. Let an hour pass. Then I walked the perimeter of the bungalow. Malik had already mapped it, where the cameras were, where the patio had blind spots, where their balcony door didn't fully latch. At 4:43 p.m., I knocked. Not hard, not loud, just enough. Inside, movement, muffled voices, then footsteps, then silence. She didn't open the door, but the curtain shifted, and I saw her face in the window for just half a second. Eyes wide, hand to mouth. Recognition. I left. Didn't need her to open it. The look was enough. I'd written this scene already. All she had to do was show up. That night, she finally replied to my text. Hey, sorry, been a crazy day. Back-to-back meetings. Barely got to eat. I'll call tonight. I didn't answer. Instead, I uploaded everything from Malik's last 24 hours into a folder and renamed it. Primary evidence. Brielle Ruiz Hotel Asset Pack. Then I drafted 2 emails. One to my lawyer. One to Damon's fiancé. Yes, fiancé. Didn't mention that, did I? I found her through a tagged photo from 6 months back. Matching tattoos. Forever my person. Same ring still visible in his stories, just removed from the frame. She'd left a comment under one of Brielle's posts back in April. You're glowing, girl. Love you 2-inch. Yeah, that aged well. I bought the camera at a shop 3 blocks from the villa. Nothing fancy, handheld, wide-angle lens, night-capable. Cash payment. No receipt. Tucked it into my jacket pocket like a tourist. Because that's what I was now. Just a man visiting a place where the truth lives out loud, and nobody realizes they're the main character in their own downfall. They weren't hiding anymore. Maybe they never were. At noon, I followed them to brunch, a corner table, outdoor patio, 2 mimosas, one hand under the table. Hers. He leaned in, whispered something. She laughed. I didn't record that part. Just watched. At 2:18 p.m., they walked into the boutique across the plaza. She tried on a silk dress. He took a photo of her in the mirror. I saw the flash. I recorded that. They kissed in the alley behind the wine bar. Fast. Hungry. I filmed that too. At 4:07 p.m., they returned to the villa. I waited 20 minutes. Looped around the back. Same unlocked balcony door. The camera was on before I stepped over the rail. No sounds. Just positioning. Lens through the side pane of glass. What I captured. Her stripping off that new dress. Him lying back, hands behind his head. Her phone, open on the bed, new message alert from mom. Tell him you love him. It keeps you protected legally. Yeah, her mother was coaching the act. At 5:16, I stopped recording. That was enough. I'd seen what I needed to see. Back in my room, I dumped everything onto a secure hard drive. Labeled it. Asset folder, primary proof, infidelity plus fraud video. Included. Timestamped hotel security footage. GPS trail from her phone. The full synced archive of deleted texts from the last 4 weeks. And now? 22 minutes of video. Later that night, she FaceTimed me. Hair pulled back. Sweater on. Behind her? A fake hotel lamp and a wall she thought I'd never recognize. I let it ring out. She texted next. Hey babe. Just wrapping meetings. Miss your face. I took a screenshot of that too. Slid it into the folder. Right next to the clip of her saying, Damon, you're so much better than him in every way. I didn't call. Didn't answer. Didn't need to. Because I was done collecting. Now, it was time to deliver. She walked through the door 2 nights later, humming. Same travel bag. Same easy smile. Same cheap perfume layered over guilt. I was sitting at the kitchen counter. Laptop closed. Whiskey poured. Nothing else on the counter except a small silver thumb drive in the center of a black envelope. She froze when she saw it. Hey, what's this? I didn't answer right away. Just pushed the envelope an inch closer. Press play before you speak. She blinked. Is this a joke? Nope. What's on it? Palm Springs. Everything you said. Everything you did. She laughed sharp, forced, too loud. You're being dramatic. Press. Play. She stepped back like it was rigged. You went through my things? You went through me. She picked up the drive like it might bite. What is this supposed to prove? That I know. And that now you know I know. She didn't even make it to the living room. Just stood there, staring. I made a mistake. Multiple. It didn't mean anything. It meant enough for you to book a suite, use a fake name, and coach your mother on how to help cover it. That landed. Her eyes dropped. The act cracked. What do you want? There it was. The first honest question she'd asked in weeks. I reached behind me, pulled out 2 folders, set them on the table, side by side. One red, one gray. Red folder, legal submission. Divorce with fault, fraud, full asset recovery. That includes your texts, the footage, your mother's coaching, and Damon's situation, specifically the one involving his pregnant fiancée. She blinked hard. Didn't see that one coming. Gray folder. NDA. Quiet walk. You disappear. No lawsuits. No reputation collapse. You get enough to move, but not enough to rebuild a lie. You pick. She stared at them like they might kill her either way. This is blackmail. This is arithmetic. I didn't mean for it to get this far. And I didn't mean to let it. But here we are. She reached for the gray folder. Stopped halfway. What if I choose neither? I smiled. Then we go viral. I've got 3 copies of the footage, one with my lawyer, one already sent to your HR department, and one being scheduled to drop online in 24 hours if I don't input a kill code. You wouldn't. Try me. She opened the gray folder. Didn't speak again for 5 minutes. Just read. Line by line. Finally, she looked up. What happens after I sign? You pack. You leave. You don't speak my name again. And just like that, the empire she thought she was building died in her hands. She signed the NDA on a Thursday. Didn't cry. Didn't argue. Just scribbled her name fast, like rushing made it less real. Packed her things the next morning. 2 suitcases. 1 carry-on. Left behind a pair of heels and a framed photo from our first trip together, us smiling in the back of a tuk-tuk in Bangkok. Her head tilted against mine. She didn't take it. She didn't even look at it. By noon, she was gone. Keys on the counter. Account access revoked. Phone plan cut. Garage code changed. Security system reset. That should have been the end. It almost was. Until 3 days later, I got a call from a mutual friend. Nina. The kind who's always sipping something fizzy and whispering everyone else's business. Hey. Weird question. Are you okay? I'm fine. Why? I ran into Brielle yesterday. She said you had anger issues. That she had to leave in a hurry. That she was scared. My stomach didn't flip. My heart didn't race. Because I'd been expecting this exact play. I hung up, opened my laptop, and accessed a different folder. One she didn't know about. Backup/PR shield/. Inside. The original NDA she signed. Screen recording of her reading it. Audio of her thanking me for the graceful option. Timestamped footage of her hugging me before she left. Messages from her phone during the affair. Location logs from the villa. Her voice saying, I know I messed up. I don't deserve a quiet exit, but thank you for giving me one. I packaged it all into a secure file. Named it. In case she opens her mouth.zip. Uploaded it to 3 independent servers. Gave each copy a different failsafe trigger. One to my lawyer. One to a journalist friend. One set to release if she posted my name anywhere online. That night, she tweeted something vague. Sometimes you don't realize how toxic someone was until the silence feels like oxygen. No name. No photo. Just enough to bait sympathy. It got 37 likes in 2 hours. Then 122. By morning, over 800. Retweeted by one of those faux spiritual influencers who always writes in lowercase. So I did 2 things. Screenshot. Send. To the account monitoring service I'd hired 2 weeks ago. They hit her inbox that afternoon. This post constitutes a breach of the NDA you signed on date. Please refer to Clause 4.3, Indirect Defamation via social media. She took it down in less than 10 minutes. Never posted again. It was buried deep. A password-protected folder on her old MacBook. But Brielle wasn't thorough. And I'm not the type to forget where the bodies are buried. I cracked the folder on a rainy Sunday afternoon. Used her usual combo. Initials plus her mom's birthday plus the year she graduated. Inside? A Word doc titled, Statement Draft, Should He Go Public? And below that, another. Notes, Gaslight Plan V2, Keep Gentle. I opened the draft first. It was a press-ready breakup announcement. Sounded soft, rehearsed, polished like a PR release for a dead celebrity. After a difficult period of self-reflection, I've decided to step away from a relationship that no longer aligns with who I am becoming. He was never abusive, but the emotional distance, the unpredictability, and the gaslighting left me unsure of who I was. It went on. 3 paragraphs of calm, calculated character assassination. No specifics. No name calling. Just enough insinuation to wreck a man's name without saying anything actionable. Then I opened the second file. Her real notes. Line by line, it mapped out a strategy. Lean on the therapist narrative, mention distance, doubt. Use sleepwalking episode, say you felt unsafe. Keep emotion in voice when mentioning mom's advice. If he threatens legal, play victim card but don't escalate first. Pre-write captions for Instagram, heartbreak healing, self-love, women supporting women. Find a mutual friend who'll accidentally leak the truth. She was going to burn me clean. No smoke. Just a smoldering trail of suggestive quotes and secondhand whispers. And the worst part? She drafted all this 3 weeks before I sent that fake message to my ex. Before I tested her loyalty. Before she even knew I was suspicious. She was planning to cut my legs out, claim the house, and walk away with the sympathy of 50,000 followers and a dozen lifestyle podcasts. So I added one more item to my archive. Statement draft _Brielle.docs. Then I printed it. Not for court. Just to remind myself, I wasn't paranoid. I was patient. I mailed a copy, without return address, to her favorite brand's PR team. The one she was courting for a wellness partnership. Just a manila envelope. 1 page. No threats. Just be mindful who you attach your logo to. That campaign never launched. She wanted to make me the villain. So I gave her no stage. No lights. No audience. Just a closed door. And the echo of a plan that never left draft mode. The message came through a week later. Not a text. A letter. Handwritten. Sloppy. Torn edges like she couldn't fold a page anymore without shaking. I know I broke things that can't be fixed. But if there's any piece of us left, I'm willing to start from scratch. No lies. No games. Just truth. I miss your calm. I miss your voice. I miss the version of myself you made me feel safe enough to be. I read it once. Folded it neatly. Placed it in a drawer next to the USB stick labeled primary evidence. Insurance copy. Didn't reply. Because the only thing worse than a woman who betrays you is one who comes back hoping you've forgotten how deep the knife went. 2 days later, she showed up. Same knock as always, 2 quick taps, 1 long pause. I opened the door. She looked like hell. Pale. Thin. Same designer bag, but none of the energy she used to swing it with. I just want to talk. We're talking. I meant, about us. There is no us. I know. But maybe there could be again. She stepped inside like the house still remembered her. Looked around like it was a crime scene. Like she was expecting to see her reflection in something. You didn't change anything. No. I left it as a museum. Of what? Of the life you buried. She sat on the edge of the couch. I went to therapy. Did you tell your therapist about the hotel? I told her everything. Even the fake breakup statement? Silence. Even the gaslight notes? More silence. Even the NDA breach? She blinked. I'm not here to fight. No. You're here to negotiate with a man who already walked away. I let the silence stretch until her breath caught. Is there really nothing left in you for me? I stood up. Walked to the drawer. Pulled out a small envelope. You want to start over? Here. Inside. A blank check. Her name already printed. Zeroed out. Signature space empty. Fill in what you think your closure costs. She stared at it. You're buying me off? No. I'm letting you go with dignity. That's more than you offered me. She didn't sign it. Didn't rip it either. She just stood. Looked at me like the air between us had turned into concrete. You're colder than I thought. No. I'm quieter than you hoped. She walked out. This time, she didn't look back. I sat in the same chair for an hour. Didn't pour a drink. Didn't open a folder. Just watched the clock tick. Each second whispering. You did it right. I didn't block her. Didn't need to. She didn't exist anymore. Not in my inbox, not in my call logs, not in the digital world where she once flooded every calendar, playlist, and shared folder. I spent one evening, just one, going room by room, deleting, resetting, clearing the last traces of someone who once studied my every habit, only to weaponize them later. The Netflix account? New profile. New password. Old one renamed Ghost. Just long enough for her to see it before I deactivated the share. The Spotify account? Cleared. Our road trip playlist? Gone. Replaced with one titled For the Drive Home. Only 2 songs in it, The Inn by the Doors and No Church in the Wild. I closed the joint safety deposit box. Inside, I left one item. The necklace I gave her when she said, I love you for the first time, taped to a note that read, You can keep the story. I've already rewritten the ending. The utilities were reset. The name on the mortgage changed. Her car, which I'd co-signed, was repossessed under the new terms of the split. She called the bank. They told her to talk to legal. She called legal. They told her to talk to me. She didn't call again. A month passed. Then two. The mutual friends drifted. Not because I asked them to pick sides, but because truth doesn't need PR. And lies always rot in sunlight. I saw her name once. Tag on a post from someone she barely knew. Something about healing. Something about strength. Comments full of support, emojis, and half-hearted affirmations. No one mentioned what came before. No one dared tag me. I didn't reply. Because that was the point. She thought she'd break up with me. Thought she'd walk out with half the truth and a full narrative. But I never fought her. Never chased her. I didn't need revenge. I needed erasure. And I did it the same way she dismantled me. One silent step at a time. No, my name isn't tied to hers anywhere. Not on paper. Not in public. Not in memory, unless she dares to say it out loud and risk what's still sitting in that drive marked release if provoked. She didn't lose me. She deleted herself.